Hi everybody. This problem is in section 3.3 and it has to do with, as the problem says, the given frequency distribution describes the speeds of drivers ticketed in 30 miles per hour speed zone. Find the standard deviation, which is small s, of the sample data summarized in a frequency distribution table by using the formula below. And x represents the class midpoints of each one of the ranges that they give, and f represents the frequency in each one of these ranges. Okay, so this formula looks horrible, right? It really does. But we're going to use Excel to help us get through it. So the first thing you want to do is click on the little copy table to clipboard thing that we've been doing. Come on over to Excel and do a Control V. I'm going to start a new column, and it's going to be X, and they said that X was the midpoint of each of the ranges. So if you look right here, 42 to 45, what's halfway between 42 and 45? I think it's 43.5. You could add them and divide by 2 if you weren't sure. The next guy, what's halfway between 46 and 49? I think it's 47.5. And you can see a pattern forming. I think all you have to do is add 4 as you go down. So 47.5 plus 4 is 51.5. Then it'd be 55.5. And then the last one's going to be 59.5. So you got your X column. So now we look at the formula and you go, there's F times X squared in the formula. I think I need an X squared column. So I'm going to write X and then just type a 2. Now this is just something I'll show you. You don't have to do this. I'm going to highlight the 2, right mouse click it, click on the format cells. It takes a few seconds, and click on superscript. And what that does is it raises that 2, see that, to a higher power there. So X squared. So I'm going to click on the cell right before right under the X squared title heading, column heading, and I always got to remember to type an equal sign in. And I go, X squared. Where's X in this row that I'm in? Oh, it's the 43.5. So don't type 43.5. Click on it. So you'll see C2 there. Times in Excel is star, asterisk, and X squared, it's times itself, right? C2 times C2, and I hit enter. So that multiplied 43.5 times itself. And remember how we can finish the rest of the ones off. You don't got to do each one individually. You just click on the result that you got. You move your mouse to get that black crosshair. You left mouse click, drag down, and release. Okay. So then I look again and I go, I have an F times X squared in there. So I think I need a F times X squared. So I can just do this and highlight my 2 again. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I like to do it, so I'm going to do it. So click OK. So I have X. Oh, it didn't work. Shoot. Let me try that again. Woo. Format the cell. Superscript it. There, and say OK. Oh, it worked that time. Okay, so this time, always start with the equal, cell right below that. Where's the F in that column? That's the frequency. So I click on the 25, so I see a B2. I do a star for times, and X squared is the 1892. Click on that. Hit enter, and then click on that guy, and fill in the rest. Okay, I have one more thing that I see. I see F times X. Oh, this is the last one, I promise. So it's just F times X. So I come to below that, I do an equal sign, I go, where's the F in that row? That's the 25. Don't forget the asterisk, sometimes I forget it. Where's the X in that row? It's the 43.5. Hit enter, and then fill this guy in. Okay, then I go back to my formula, and I go, what is this N? N is the sum of the frequencies, so it's all these numbers. The counts added up. So remember how you do sum? You go to the bottom of where you want to add, what you want to add. Look for that little sum of. That's what the E is, you guys, that crazy looking E, sum of. Click on that, say sum, and it's smart enough to know you must mean everything above me. Click enter. So I guess if you added those up, you get 59. Then I see there's a sum of f times x squared. Oh, I guess I got to add up this column, f times x squared. So I do that little something again, hit enter, and ooh, looks like I got to add up the f times x's too. So I go to the bottom of that column and I do sum of, and I hit enter. All right, now basically what we have to do, is figure out this equation. Now we just got to plug into this equation that we have over here. And we're going to use Excel. So I'm just going to come to a cell somewhere below it, doesn't matter where, and I'm going to say equals. First thing you always got to remember to put equals in. The square root, see how there's a square root in this formula? The square root function in Excel is SQRT. And anything that you want to take the square root of, then you put in parentheses. So I'm going to type in the opening and the closing parentheses and then go into the middle of it, of the parentheses. Oh, I got to go one over. Okay. Now I think I'm in the middle. Okay. Then I look at the formula and I go, I got a top of a fraction and a bottom of a fraction. I think I better put parentheses in for the top of the fraction. All right. And then I'm going to get in the middle of those guys. So I'm in the middle of those green guys, I think. Okay, so now I look at the formula and I go n. What's n? That's this. That's the sum of the frequencies. So I click on the 59. Don't type 59. Click on it. And then I have to multiply that by the sum of the fx squares. Oh, that's this guy right here, 13,000 whatever. So I click on that. And then I look at the formula over here and it says minus. So I type a minus in. And then it says the sum of the f times x, but square that. So where's the sum of the f times x? It's here, so I'm going to click on that, but I got to square it. So I'm going to click on that, asterisk, click on it again. And I think we got the top of our fraction. Okay, so I'm going to arrow over. Oops, I don't want to do that. Okay. So now I come outside of that top of the parenthesis for the top of the fraction, and I have to do a division sign because we're dividing. So and then I'm going to put my parentheses in for the bottom of the fraction and go back to inside that set of parentheses. Yeah, it's kind of complicated, but there we go. Okay, so now I look at the bottom of the fraction and it says n, so that's the 59. So I click on the 59, and then you times it. Oh, another set of parentheses. And it's n minus 1. So click on the 59 again, minus 1, and I don't think I closed that parenthesis yet. And the parentheses are good because they're color-coded, so you can kind of see that you have matching ones. So I think I got it. I'm going to hit enter. Oh no. Okay. We're going to edit this part out. I'm going to start again. Okay. Alright, so now I'm at the point where I want to plug into this equation and finally get the standard deviation after we did all this work. So I just click on some cell down here, doesn't matter where, and I remember to put the equal in. The function for, we have to take the square root, see the square root sign? The function for square root in Excel is SQRT. And then I'm going to put an open parenthesis in to start it. And then whatever you're going to type in, whatever you want to take the square root of, you have to enclose in these parentheses. So I'm going to come in between the parentheses and go, now I have a bunch of stuff on the top of the fraction. So I think I'll put another set of parentheses in that's going to have everything on the top of the fraction. So I'm going to go inside those parentheses. And I'm going to look at the formula, and the first thing I see is an n. What's the n? That's the sum of the frequencies. So I'm going to click on that. And then it says times, see over here, it says times the sum of the fx squares. Oh, that's this number right here. So I'm going to click on him. Oh, shoot. I got to stop this. Start over. I'm going to take all this out, so this is all coming out. Okay. Now I'm at the point where I can finally plug into the equation. So I'm going to pick a cell anywhere in Excel, down below a little bit, and I'm going to start off, as we always do when we do an equation, with an equal sign. Then I'm going to look at the formula, and I see that it's the square root of a bunch of stuff. So I need a function in Excel called sqrt for square root. I'm going to put a parenthesis in, a space, and then a closing parenthesis. I put the space in there so it's easier for me to move back over. See, now whatever I want to take the square root of, I have to encase in those parentheses. So then I look at the formula, and I got a bunch of stuff on top of a fraction and a bunch of some stuff on the bottom of the fraction. So I would probably put another set of parentheses in to have what's on the top of the fraction in there. So I'm going to put my cursor into the middle of those inner parentheses, and now I'm going to put in what's on the top of the fraction. So I look, and the first thing I see is n. That's the sum of the frequencies. That's the 59. So don't type 59. Click on 59. So you see times B7. You see B7. Then I'm going to say, oops, my cursor just moved. Then I'm going to say times, and then what is it times? It's times the sum of the fx squares. Where's that? That's that 13,000 right there. See the sum of this column? I'm going to click on that. And then I look at the formula over here and I see minus. So I come back over here and I say minus. Minus what? The sum of the f times x squared. So where's the sum of the f times x? It's right here, but I gotta square it. So I click on it, asterisk, click on it again. I think we got the top of our fraction done. So I come to the outside of that green parenthesis there and I put the division sign. That's the division sign you see right here. I think at this point I'm going to put another set of parentheses in and for the bottom of the fraction. So I'm going to go inside those and I'm going to say, oh, what is it? It's n. So where's n? The 59. Then you always have to put a star in. Then I see another set of parentheses. So I'll put those in and I'll go within those ones and I'm going to type in n minus 1. And I think we're done. So at this point we should hit enter. And we get 4.425. They say over here, that should be your S, you guys, your standard deviation. I'm going to try typing it in. 4.4, that's rounded to one decimal place. Cross your fingers, hit enter. Good job.